anyone should ask you who's my true love, tell them my love's truth is ever letting all the love come.
各位朋友，欢迎收看玫瑰约会。今天这个玫瑰约会，我觉得实在是满室都是女人的香味跟女人的味道。因为今天我的客人非常的特别，她是远道而来，她是一个里头跟外面都一样美丽的女人。大家在以前的朝代影集里头对她一定很熟悉，对她的感觉也是爱恨交织。可是我相信，今天你听了她的谈话以后，绝对会爱上她，比以前更爱她。我们欢迎今天晚上我的客人琼考琳丝 ，Miss Joan Collins. Welcome to our show and thank you so much.
你好吗？
Wow, wow. You are so smart. You've learned it already?
I learned that, yes.
你
How are
好
you?
吗 I'm fine, great.
Good, good.
Well, pardon me if I get too excited, okay?
That's all right. I've been very excited about your suit. You see, I covered it.
Thank you. 今天真的很巧，我们都穿同一个设计家设计的衣服哦。然后我们发现我们都同样喜欢白颜色。I would like to ask you, okay, Taiwanese people is very familiar with your role in Dynasty and Alexis. Do you like Alexis as a personality?
I do, actually, because I do think that you can never really portray a character well unless you like the character.
Yes.
Because most people like themselves. So even though many people see bad things in Alexis, I like the character.
But what about all those things she's done?
What things?
For example, maybe she is trying to only do things for herself.
Yes, but you see, I think that this is a characteristic of many ruthless business people today. And this was one of the things that I felt was a very masculine trait that she had. And I took it from various businessmen that I knew who were devious, cunning, manipulative, and just out for themselves. And this seems to be the norm for businessmen, but not normally for women.
After all, it's only human.
Yes,
Yeah.
human.
What do you think about love? Love.
I think it's essential. I think that there should be more love in the world. I think that one of the reasons that I'm here in Taipei is because I'm here for the year of the child awareness.
Yes.
And I think that one of the reasons that children suffer so much today is that people don't love them enough.
Yes.
The government, their parents, the people at school. I think that children are suffering from love, and I think that's one of the things they need more. So that's one of the reasons that we're here to raise money to do more for the children.
Yes, very, very kind of you.
Well,
I think the problem comes from the parents mostly. You know, parents don't love the children as much as when we were children.
oh,
I
I
think
totally
so.
agree. I totally agree. I think that it's not as important now, it seems, for parents to care about the welfare of their children because they have many stresses in their life. They have the stress of having to work, having to do business, and it's one thing for the man to do that, but then when the woman has to do it too, it's very difficult to come home at night or in the afternoon and really care about the children. And so, of course, the ideal family really is the family in which the father goes to work, the mother stays at home and looks after the children. And if that happened, then there wouldn't be any abused and sad and miserable children. But unfortunately, that is a utopian way that I think has long gone, sadly, for the world.
Yeah, I hope this is going to be improved.
Well, I certainly hope it's going to be improved, but there's so much stress in the world that I don't, I think that just every little thing that we can do is very important to try and help the children and the children that have, there's so much cruelty to children, there's so much abuse of children. It's as though the world has forgotten about children. It makes, I don't cry very often, but the last time I cried was when I was watching on CNN and I was watching the Bosnian children in the streets of the cities that had been completely wrecked, getting onto the trucks and being taken God knows where, having lost their parents, having lost their siblings, and the little boy who came out had been blinded by mortars. It's just shocking. Children are the victims. They're constantly the victims, and they can't stand up for themselves. And if they get tough, the children of today, God knows what those Bosnian children are going to be like when they grow up, because I should think they'd have a lot of bitterness in their soul.
Let's not talk about the sadness anymore.
No.
I know you have 3 adorable children. Tell us something more about your children.
Well, my children are adorable, but they are not such children anymore. They're all in their 20s. My daughter is a TV presenter in England.
Really?
Yeah, she just started that with one of those kind of magazine programs, rather like this. She introduces songs and interviews and goes to and does crazy things. and my son is graduating from film school. He wants to be a director, and he paints beautifully. And my little daughter, she left school and she took a job for a year, and now she's considering what to do. She's taking a whole bunch of courses on various things like journalism and painting and furniture, the study of yes.
So is your son considering casting you in his film?
I don't think so, no.
Well, so far about the global movement for children, especially the underprivileged, are you pleased with the progress?
No, I think there's been very little progress. I think that UNICEF is doing what it can, but it seems just as they clear up one situation that will be going on in Zaire, for example, there'll be another situation in the Sudan or in Somalia, and it's like going around, you know, trying to stop a dam from bursting. No, I'm not pleased at all by the situation. Well, obviously, it's been tremendously improved by UNICEF and by all the children's charities, and I'm involved with quite a few of them.
Okay, there are so many adjectives and description, you know, that describe Joan Collins. Which one do you agree more?
Well,
more?
You tell me a few of them, and I'll tell you which one I think.
Well, charming, sexy, romantic,
Yes,
beautiful.
yes, yes.
You agree then? Okay, if you are to describe your own self, what would you say?
Chameleon.
Chameleon.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Very changeable, very direct, very energetic, invincible. I mean, and a survivor, and a person who really loves life and loves people. Yes.
Tell me something about your childhood.
I was very lucky. I had a very good childhood, a very privileged upbringing in terms of my parents being happily married, living well, not being denied very much, except that I was by no means spoiled. I mean, I grew up without television. I was told that I had to improve my mind. So I had music and I had the radio, and we had the movies. But at home, we had to make our own entertainment, which makes, I think, for a more well-rounded individual. So I painted and I drew and I wrote and I made dolls and I did every possible thing you can do. And I had a very, very productive childhood.
So being an actress, you know, acting on stages, a writer, an author, a producer, which one you enjoy most?
I must say that I like them all. I suppose really I prefer acting to anything else. But I do, it's very fulfilling to produce. I produced 2 miniseries, Sins, which I think was on recently, and Monte Carlo. And I was very interested in being able to do all the casting and be involved in the look of the whole show. And of course, I like writing. I've written 2 novels, and I'm writing my 3rd, and then I'm writing a beauty book.
A beauty book?
Well, don't sound so surprised.
No, you are most eligible to write this
Thank
book.
you. Thank you.
Yes, okay. Talking about beautiful, okay. You've been recognized as a beautiful woman for, you know, so many decades. Have you ever found being beautiful is a burden? You have to keep yourself so beautiful at all times.
Well, it's never been a burden to me because of my mother, all my aunts. I had about 10 aunts. And
10?
Yeah. Well, my mother had 11 brothers and sisters, and my father had 2 sisters. They were all very, very glamorous, interested in clothes, interested in presenting themselves in the best possible way. They taught me how to do my makeup when I was about 6. And my hair.
6.
Yes. And my mother would never have dreamed of going out, even to do shopping, unless she was properly dressed.
You know, Chinese saying is that, you know, whatever in our hearts, in our mind, it appears on our face. That means if you think, positive and kind,
Yes.
you look better.
Ah,
I
well,
believe in that.
I totally believe in that. I think you get the face you deserve.
Yes.
And I think if you look at women, I'm sure you have friends, and you can see that the ones who are bitter and envious and twisted and unhappy with their lives, they don't have the same kind of look after 40, say, that a person who tries to think good, positive thoughts and tries to do the best they can in the world. So I do think that that's a Chinese philosophy. It's one I certainly agree with and approve of.
Okay. Well, you have anything to say to our Taiwanese audience, both parents and children, about their relationship?
Oh, I wouldn't presume to tell Chinese parents and children how to conduct their relationships. Just love each other a lot and be very supportive of your children. I understand that Chinese children have to work very, very hard at school, much, much harder than children in the West. And I think that must be very difficult for them. And I know when I was a child, it was very difficult for me to do homework. I hated doing homework. I preferred doing the work at school, with the teachers there and the other children. It was always difficult to do it at home. But I think that children do have to do homework, and I think that the parents should respect that child needs its space to do it in. And I think that's apparently one of the problems that they have with overcrowding, is that the children don't have enough space.
So what the world needs now is love, and I think understanding.
Somebody wrote that as a song.
Yes. Okay, it's very, very nice talking to you.
Thank you,
And
Regina.
after I've talked to you, I found that Joan is not only just another bright Hollywood star, from acting on television, movies, to writing, to producing. I think in whatever she chooses to do, I think it makes you become an outstanding Hollywood legendary.
Wow.
So I'm sure that you're going to charm the world with the talent and whatever Joan Collins stands for. And on behalf of all the Taiwanese people, I wish you all the success in life, and I look forward to our next program.
Thank you, Regina.
Thank you so much. And this is your favorite, White Roses.
It certainly is, and must have been very difficult to find. Yes, they are my favorite. Thank you. I enjoyed meeting you.
Thank you.